Welcome. This is the Manga Report, episode 12. These are the 5 titles that I'm bringing you for the week of June 8th, 2020. The first title that we are recommending is Underprint. Underprint has the title of Supernatural. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this. I believe the author's name is Simrims. It's updated every Thursday. Let's get into it. Narrator voice. Jin is a famous singer whose true identity is the legendary devil, Lord Paradine. Even his own son, Miryu, does not know that his father is the legendary devil. To protect his son, Jin fights. I think it's kind of an oversimplification of what's going on in this story, but it is basically that. His father is a super famous singer, pop idol that he has to then help save his own father's life from the demon queen whose blood ties to him causes her to be able to manipulate him to do attacks for her, all while also trying to survive being attacked by archangels. There's a lot going on there. Then Miryu actually ends up becoming infected with a spell that connects him mentally and physically to his father. So actually, they end up both getting sick at one point in time together, and they're both being affected by it. And he's actually partially looks like he may have the Atan blood, which is something that comes out in the storyline. So if you are interested, or if I've piqued your interest at all about this title, I would recommend go ahead and reading that Underprint. Next title on this is. Our next title for the week of June 8th, 2020 is Kubera. Kubera is fantasy title. The author's name, it looks like it's Kurigum. Let's go ahead and look into that. Currently on hiatus. If I'm not mistaken, though, it was being updated like every Friday and Saturday, maybe, or one of those 2 days. But let's go ahead and get into it. So, narrator voice. Kubera lives in a small town. One day, when she came back to home, she found out that high-ranked Suras wiped out the town. Therefore, she escaped to the city to get Asha's help, who was a great wizard. So, let's go ahead and go back here. Suras are demons. They have different rankings, different titles, and Kubera is actually something you'll see turns out to be the name of a god. And there is a huge conspiracy that's going on. People are being murdered because they have this name, and it's all for a grand scheme of some other entity's power. There are multiple demon clans, and there are multiple gods in this storyline. Then there's the humans that exist in between them that are usually either some type of magician or some kind of half-breed, someone who's half human, half demon. There's a lot that goes on in this story. Our main character, Kubera, or Elise, as it were, because she ends up changing her name, to hide, so she's, protecting herself to be, stay safe. She gets involved with a whole lot of people and a whole lot of incidents. She has actually, there's another thing. There's different elemental traits. So there's the death magic trait. There's the water magic trait. There's the fire magic trait. There's the light magic trait. There's the earth magic trait. There's a regeneration magic trait. And there's certain classes like you can be AAA or A. There's a lot that goes into it. And there's those who are just naturally strong. They're just considered a fighter class. They're just brawlers because their magic is that of just super strength. So I forgot about that. So there's a lot that goes into it. It's a pretty deep storyline. The action is good. Again, it falls in the fantasy category. It's a pretty dark story of everything that goes around. Because again, as you saw, that she comes home, loses her whole village. But there's a conspiracy behind that. It gets pretty deep. So that was Kubera. This again, I recommend this title. If any of this has piqued your interest, I would again go ahead and check out Kubera for yourself. Again, you can get this on the Webtoon app. So that is our second title for the week of June 8th, 2020. Moving on to our third title. So our third title for the week of June 8th, 2020, brought to you again by the Webtoon app, is a fantasy title by the name of Dice. The manga creator's name is Hyun Seok Yun. I believe that's how you pronounce it. This let's go ahead. Let's get into it. Don't waste any time. So this is updated every Wednesday. Uh, narrator voice. What if you can restart your life with a different setting, just like a game? Dong Tai always gets bullied by his classmates, but Tae Bin sits right next to him. Is handsome, popular at school, and now Tae Bin suggests Dong Tae to play a little game. So, Dice, man, this is a deep one. It falls into the fantasy category. But this is actually a pretty dark story as well. Basically, it's like, what would you do if you had the ability to change anything about you, just from rolling dice, right? And the number of pips, which are the dots on dice, can constitute what amount of points you have to make customizations of your body. You can make yourself stronger. You can make yourself handsomer, prettier. You can make yourself taller. You can make yourself stronger. You can give yourself superpowers. What would you do with that power? So that's the story of what would you do with that power and what comes at the price of obtaining that power. And what happens when the GM decides, I don't like you having that power anymore. That's Dice. Dice is it's a really good tale. Again, it's very intricate. It's very emotional. The ups and downs, the highs and lows. Man, there's so much. So you'll get driven into this one. So again, if any of these has piqued your interest about reading Dice, please, by all means, go ahead and do so. Again, you can do so on the Webtoon. This is our third title. So moving on to our fourth title. So our fourth title is Doodle for Food. This is slice of life comedy. It's very lighthearted arc. I wanted to throw that in there and mix it in with the titles that we're doing for this week. So what's our fourth title for the week of June 8th, 2020? And that again is Doodle for Food. The author is Megan McKay. And it's just like it says, it's slice of life comedy. It's just basically just jokes about just living, right? Mostly from this aspect of the author. So that's even, and slash artist. So that's even, greater. And it's just, kind of just like, satire, not even satire. It's just literally just observational comedy. Even just, what you do in your own natural life. I would love to show some, pointers here. We'll wait for that. We'll say that for the review episode. So it appears the author has actually ended her series. So we'll just go ahead and read that. Cute and funny comics with a pinch of biting humor. Right? Like I said, it's very, very good still. It actually reads left to right. Actually, no, sorry, right to left. You swipe to the right. But again, the comedy is just, like I said, it's just poignant. It's just basic points at life, about your own character, about the characters, about people around you. You could see a lot of yourself potentially in these slides, or even just people around you that you know. So that in itself, it makes this a great read for me. It looks like it's got 500 episodes. So there you have it. That's our fourth title for the week of June 8th, 2020 on Webtoon. So now on to our fifth and final title for the week of June 8th, 2020. So our fifth title is I Don't Want This Kind of Hero. It is a superhero style. So it's, fantasy, supernatural, people, gifted with powers. The author's name is Sam Chon, I believe that's how you pronounce that, or Sam Chon. So let's get into it. Oh, apparently, wow, this is also completed. Just kind of disclaimer. I have been reading a lot of stuff from a lot of different sources, so I have not been keeping up as much as I used to. So I Don't Want This Kind of Hero is actually completed now. And so let's go ahead and read it. Narrator voice. A new hero, Spoon, is here to save the world and find the peace. So Spoon is actually the superhero organization, and our main character, believe his name is Naga. I'll verify that when I come back on Friday. Uh, he is a super powerful being, right? But he's just a teenager. He's got these extremely powerful abilities. And so he gets drafted by Spoon to do a part time job as a superhero. But he would rather just live life and not have to worry about anything that's going on. But then he gets dragged into a terrorist organization's attacks. And then he ends up having to save a lot of people and make a lot of tough choices that you probably should not be putting on a child. And he has to make a lot of these choices again, all while also having the ability to just destroy everything if he really so chooses. But he is the one with the deepest moral conscience of everyone in this series. It's crazy, and because of it, he suffers a lot. But that's I don't want this kind of hero. So again, this is our fifth and final title for the week of June 8th, 2020. If any of these titles piqued your interest, again, you can read all of them on the Webtoon app. If you don't already have it, again, you can go ahead and download it on iOS or Android. Whatever source you decide to choose it to pick it up, go ahead and read it on that source. But come back on Twitch, which is twitch.tv/Kunitoshijoku to do the live review of these 5 titles. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and end the show, episode here. So if you haven't already, go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, and signing off. Remember, as always, stay salty.